What if happiness isn't a gift life gives to the lucky, but a discipline you build every day? Imagine waking up in a storm, emails demanding your attention, bills waiting, relationships pulling you in different directions. Most people wait for peace to appear when the chaos stops. But what if that day never comes? The Stoics believed happiness is not a prize, but a practice, a daily rebellion against distraction, fear, and despair. This video begins with a radical idea that joy isn't found in perfect circumstances, but forged within you in the choices you make. Think about your mornings. You wake up, grab your phone, and instantly your mind is hijacked by other people's noise, messages, comparisons, bad news. Before you've even taken a breath, your peace is already gone. We've been taught to believe happiness arrives only when life calms down, when people behave, when we finally reach success. But real life is messy, unpredictable, and unfair. If you wait for circumstances to change, you'll wait forever. The truth? You don't need life to be easier. You need to be stronger. Happiness is not what happens to you. It's how you meet the world. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, lived in times of war, exile, slavery, and betrayal. Yet their writings are not soaked in despair, but in clarity. They remind us, the mind is its own kingdom. Happiness isn't about removing pain, but mastering response. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that difficulty tempers the soul. Marcus wrote his meditations not on a peaceful beach, but in a tent during war. If they could choose peace under such weight, so can we. Stoicism gives us tools to face life's storms, not with denial, but with disciplined joy. In this video, you will discover 7 Stoic principles that can transform happiness from a fragile mood into a daily discipline. You will learn how to decide joy every morning, how to begin with intention, how to push yourself when it's hardest, and how to protect your peace like a fortress. These aren't abstract ideas. They are practical, repeatable habits rooted in timeless wisdom. By the end, you won't just understand Stoicism. You'll have a roadmap for building joy, strength, and peace every single day. Happiness won't be a gift you wait for. It will be a discipline you live. Principle 1. Happiness is a daily decision. Happiness is not a random mood. It is a decision made every single day. Most people wait for the perfect moment, when stress disappears, when bills are paid, when people finally act the way they should. But Stoicism teaches us that if you wait for happiness, you'll wait forever. Life will always bring storms. The choice is whether you rise with calm strength or collapse under pressure. Each morning, you stand at a crossroads: bitterness or peace, worry or direction. Happiness is not about perfect conditions. It is about training your mind to respond with clarity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." He didn't write this from comfort, but while leading an empire under siege. His reminder is clear. Your mind is the one place where freedom remains untouched. You cannot control every event, but you can control the thoughts you allow to grow. When you wake up each morning, your mind is fertile ground. Will you plant fear, resentment, or despair? Or will you plant discipline, gratitude, and peace? The Stoics teach us, happiness is not found. It is cultivated, one thought at a time. Picture Epictetus, born a slave, later crippled, yet one of the greatest teachers of resilience. His life was not free of hardship. It was built from it. He taught his students that difficulties are not punishments, but the fire that tempers the soul. Imagine the heat of a blacksmith's forge. Raw metal cannot become a sword without the flame. In the same way, your happiness is forged in adversity. The world will test your peace, but each test is a chance to grow stronger. Like Epictetus, you can rise above suffering, not by avoiding it, but by mastering your response to it. In today's world, it's easy to say, "I'll be happy when I get the job, when I fix the relationship, when the stress is gone." But that mindset keeps joy locked in the future. The Stoics invite us to claim joy now, even in imperfection. Tomorrow may bring chaos, but today you can still decide to breathe, to act with calm, to find one reason to be grateful. Happiness is not passive. It is active, a muscle you strengthen daily. So tomorrow morning, when you wake, remind yourself, I don't need life to be perfect. I choose joy here and now. Principle 2. Start the day with intention. The first moments of your day are sacred. Your mind, like a sponge, absorbs whatever enters first. If you fill it with noise, emails, social media, arguments, you hand away your peace before the day even begins. But if you claim those first minutes with clarity, everything shifts. Stoicism teaches us to create inner order before facing outer chaos. Just 5 minutes of silence, breath, or reflection can transform how you carry yourself. Intention is not about perfection. It's about remembering you lead the day, not the other way around. Seneca once reminded us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Each morning is proof of this truth. You are given a fresh start, but most people squander it in distraction. The Stoics challenge us to use the morning as a foundation, not a trap. Instead of rushing blindly into the world's noise, ask yourself, what is the energy I want to carry today? The first decision shapes the rest. Choose discipline, and your life gains momentum. Choose distraction, and you drift. Imagine Marcus Aurelius in a military camp, surrounded by tension and uncertainty. He still carved out moments each morning to write in his journal, reminding himself, today I will face ingratitude, arrogance, betrayal. He prepared his mind before facing the storm. If an emperor under constant pressure could find time to ground himself, so can we. The morning is not about luxury routines, it's about preparation. Like a warrior sharpening his sword before battle, you sharpen your mind with silence, breath, or reflection. Those 5 minutes are not wasted. They are your armor. In our modern world, mornings often begin in panic, alarms blaring, phones buzzing, rushing out the door. But peace doesn't come from speed. It comes from intention. You don't need an hour of meditation. You need 5 mindful minutes. Sit in silence. Breathe deeply. Remind yourself, I am in charge of my mind today. That small choice becomes your shield against stress, gossip, and distraction. If you win the morning, you win the day. Happiness begins not with waiting, but with choosing clarity before chaos. Your future self will thank you for those first 5 minutes. Principle 3. Push yourself, especially when it's hard. There will always be a moment when your mind whispers, stop. You feel tired, heavy, overwhelmed, and every part of you wants to give in. That's the crossroads where growth is built. Happiness is not forged in comfort, but in resistance. The Stoics remind us, discipline matters most when it feels hardest. Anyone can act when inspired. Few can act when exhausted. Each time you push forward, even when you don't feel like it, you send your mind a message. I am stronger than my emotions. I am not ruled by mood. I am ruled by purpose. Epictetus once said, difficulties show what men are. He knew hardship was not an excuse to retreat, but a stage to reveal your character. Anyone can smile in sunlight, but can you smile in the storm? The Stoics taught us to treat difficulty as training, a fire that strengthens rather than destroys. When you feel resistance, don't interpret it as failure. See it as proof that you're building new strength. Pushing yourself in struggle is not punishment, it's transformation. Your best self is hidden inside that extra step you didn't want to take. Think of the blacksmith's forge. Raw iron must endure fire and hammering before it becomes a sword. Epictetus lived this truth. Born a slave, later crippled, he endured hardship most would never choose. Yet he transformed pain into wisdom, teaching generations that struggle refines the soul. In the same way, your greatest moments of pride rarely came in ease. They came when you persisted despite fear, fatigue, or doubt. Those days became the foundation of your resilience. Like metal tempered by flame, your mind grows stronger when pushed beyond its comfort. In today's world, we're tempted to avoid discomfort, skip the workout, delay the project, escape into distraction. But comfort erodes confidence. Strength grows only when challenged. The next time your mind says, not today, treat it as a signal to move. Start small, one step, one action, one decision that defies resistance. Each push is proof. You are not defined by laziness or fear. You are built by the choices you make when it's hardest. Stop asking if it's easy. Ask if it's worth it. Because greatness begins when you push past the point of comfort. Principle 4. Act first, feel later. We've been told a lie. That we must feel good before we can do good. That we must wait for motivation, energy, or confidence before we act. But the Stoics remind us the opposite is true. Feelings follow actions. Confidence comes after speaking. Energy comes after moving. Motivation comes after starting. If you wait to feel ready, you'll waste years in hesitation. True discipline is to act first, to move even when emotions resist. When you act before you feel, you reclaim authority over your mind. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How many times have you delayed action, lost in imagined fears? The more you think, the heavier it feels. But the moment you move, resistance weakens. The Stoics understood hesitation as poison. They trained themselves to act without waiting for perfect mood. Because the truth is simple, the mind is not your master. It is your tool. You don't need to feel courageous to begin. You begin, and courage appears. Think of an athlete who trains not only when inspired, but every single day. They lace up their shoes regardless of mood. A writer does not wait for the muse. They write, even in doubt. Marcus Aurelius did not record his meditations when he felt perfect peace, but when war and responsibility pressed against him. Action created alignment. In the same way, you don't wait for emotions to shift, you shift them with movement. Even the smallest step, taken against resistance, has power to reshape your mind. In modern life, hesitation is everywhere. We tell ourselves, "I'll start when I'm ready. I'll speak when I feel confident. I'll create when inspiration comes." But waiting keeps us trapped. The truth? Action is the medicine. Want clarity? Begin. Want motivation? Move. Want courage? Step forward. Don't negotiate with your feelings. They are fleeting. Train yourself to act first and let your emotions catch up later. This is how you build momentum, and momentum is more powerful than motivation. Principle 5. Focus shapes your feelings. What you focus on expands. If you feed your mind with fear, complaint, and resentment, your life will reflect those shadows. But if you train your attention toward gratitude, discipline, and opportunity, your world begins to transform. The Stoics understood this deeply. The mind is like dye poured into cloth. It colors everything it touches. Happiness, then, is not found in external luck, but in the lens you choose each day. Focus is not a passive experience. It is a discipline. And where focus goes, emotion follows. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This was not poetry, it was practice. Your mind shapes your world. Focus on bitterness, and bitterness grows. Focus on resilience, and resilience strengthens. The Stoics taught us that even when circumstances are harsh, you can control where you place your attention. A disciplined mind transforms adversity into fuel, while a distracted mind magnifies every problem. If you want to change how you feel, first change what you focus on. Imagine two people facing the same storm. One focuses on the darkness, convinced they are doomed. The other notices the horizon, the small break in clouds, and walks forward with hope. The difference isn't the storm, it's their focus. In history, the Stoics used this principle to endure exile, war, and betrayal. They asked not, "Why me?" but, "What strength is this building in me?" That shift of attention became their resilience. Likewise, your focus can turn chaos into training, fear into clarity, and pain into purpose. In our age of endless scrolling, attention is currency. And most people spend it on outrage, gossip, and noise, leaving their emotions drained. But you can choose differently. Begin asking, what am I magnifying with my focus? Each time you redirect attention toward growth, gratitude, or action, you shift your emotional state. You don't need a perfect life to feel joy. You need a better lens. Protect your focus like a treasure, because whatever you feed with attention will grow, and that choice belongs to you. Principle 6. Feed your mind like you feed your body. If someone starved their body, we'd worry. Yet many starve their minds daily, feeding on gossip, shallow drama, and endless scrolling. Just as food fuels the body, thoughts fuel the soul. The Stoics guarded their mental diet like a fortress, careful about what they allowed in. Because what you consume shapes what you become. Happiness requires nourishment, wisdom, reflection, discipline. If you eat mental junk, expect weakness. But if you feed your mind with strength, you'll carry that strength into every corner of your life. Epictetus once taught, "You become what you give your attention to." He warned his students that the mind, like the body, will be shaped by what it consumes. The Romans had no social media, yet they still wrestled with distraction and shallow entertainment. Today, the temptation is multiplied, but the principle remains. If you focus on wisdom, discipline, and virtue, those qualities take root. If you focus on noise, chaos, and fear, they grow instead. The mind is your temple. Guard its gates. Picture a soldier before battle. He eats to fuel his body for endurance. Now imagine a mind about to face life's battles. Arguments, pressure, injustice. Without nourishment, it collapses. The Stoics prepared daily by reading, writing, and reflecting. Marcus Aurelius journaled not for fame, but to strengthen his mind against despair. Today, many feed endlessly on digital noise, yet wonder why they feel anxious. Like a malnourished warrior, their spirit is weak. But those who feed their minds with wisdom walk into life's battles armored, steady, unshaken. Ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind today? News designed to provoke outrage? Social media designed to steal attention? Or wisdom designed to strengthen me? Just as you wouldn't expect health by eating junk food, you can't expect peace while consuming chaos. Start with 5 minutes of meaningful input each morning. A book, a passage, a reflection. Audit your diet throughout the day. Each choice either sharpens or dulls you. Protect your mind as fiercely as your body, because your future depends on it. Principle 7. Gratitude as mental armor. Gratitude is often misunderstood. It is not pretending everything is fine or ignoring pain. Gratitude is rebellion. It's the quiet decision to say, yes, life is heavy, but I will not let pain define the whole picture. The Stoics treated gratitude as mental armor. By remembering what remains, your breath, your lessons, your courage, you find balance even in storms. Gratitude doesn't erase struggle. It gives you the strength to carry it with dignity. It widens your vision so suffering doesn't consume the entire horizon. Seneca reminded us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. This is the essence of gratitude, not waiting for more, but seeing what is already present. The Stoics reflected daily on loss, not to become sad, but to sharpen appreciation. When you realize everything could be gone tomorrow, suddenly today becomes enough. Gratitude is not luxury, it is survival. It keeps the mind from drowning in what is missing and roots it in what still remains. Imagine a soldier in exile. He has lost home, power, and comfort. Yet he notices the sunrise, light he did not earn but still receives. This small act of gratitude anchors him, reminding him that not all has been taken. The Stoics practiced this daily. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of mortality not to despair, but to treasure what remained. Gratitude became their shield against bitterness. In the same way, when modern chaos strikes, gratitude is the thread that keeps us tethered to hope, dignity, and peace. Modern life overwhelms us with negativity, news, gossip, comparison. Gratitude is how we fight back. It grounds the nervous system, shifts perspective, and gives us resilience. You don't need a journal full of perfect words. You need a pause, one breath to ask, what remains? What is still beautiful? It could be the strength to endure, the kindness of a friend, or simply the fact that you are still here, breathing. Gratitude is not denial, it's defiance. It transforms survival into strength and ordinary days into victories. Happiness is not a gift, it is a discipline. The Stoics remind us, joy is a choice made daily, not a prize of perfect conditions. We began by learning that happiness is a decision, strengthened by starting mornings with intention, pushing ourselves when it's hard, and acting before we feel ready. We saw that focus shapes emotion, the mind must be nourished, and gratitude becomes armor. These principles are not abstract philosophy, they are living tools. Together, they form a daily practice that turns chaos into clarity, storms into strength, and life into training ground. The storms of life will not stop. Stress, betrayal, uncertainty, they are part of the human story. But you are not powerless. You carry a fortress within your mind. Every day you choose whether to surrender that fortress or defend it with clarity, gratitude, and discipline. The Stoics teach us that strength is not loud. It is quiet, steady, and unshakable. Happiness is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about meeting it with dignity. When you realize your peace belongs to you alone, you become untouchable. Knowledge without practice fades. So here is your task. Tomorrow morning, give yourself 5 minutes of intention. Before you touch your phone, sit in silence. Breathe. Write one sentence. Today I choose clarity, not chaos. Throughout the day, catch your focus. Are you feeding fear or gratitude? Before sleep, whisper one thing you are thankful for. These simple acts are not small, they are seeds. And if you plant them daily, your life will bloom with strength and peace. Begin today, not tomorrow. The discipline of joy starts now. This is the heart of Stoicism. Happiness is not waiting for life to be perfect. It is choosing strength within imperfection. So walk forward, not with fear, but with calm authority. Guard your mind. Feed your soul. Carry gratitude like armor. And when life shakes, you will not fall. Because you have chosen the Stoic path, a path of daily discipline, unshakable peace, and quiet joy. This is your invitation to live stronger, to rise higher. Remember the words of this channel, Stoic Miracles, where ancient wisdom becomes your daily strength.